Hello and welcome to Ode to Games. I'm Kevin Van Leen, joined alongside Zach Ross. How you doing, Zach?
I'm doing fantastic. There's new Monster Hunter content out.
Whoa.
I'm
Oh,
always
boy.
in a good mood when there's new Monster Hunter out.
We get into that in a bit. We also
Always,
got Logan Plant.
mostly.
How you doing, Logan?
I'm good. I'm pretty sick this week, but nothing was going to keep me away from talking about Splatoon 3. Finally, I'm so excited.
Yeah, it had been a while. They needed this. We really hadn't
Mhm.
heard much beyond those random posts on certain Nintendo Twitter accounts.
Yep.
The rollout was weird, but we finally got that big blowout direct for Splatoon 3.
Yes.
Let's get into that. That's what's going to start us off here. Logan, they got the big things out of the way. We can join our friends before we go into the lobby with strangers.
Oh, yes.
We don't have to wait for them to finish before joining in. And they got rid of having to watch the news thing. You can just use the smartphone app for it now.
Yeah. So you can use the smartphone app to see what stages there are, which you could do in 2, but you still had to watch the presentation when you booted up the game, and you can still watch kind of the news presentation, but it's just like you click the left stick to when you boot up the game, and if you don't have to watch it, and you can just go straight into the lobby, do whatever you want. And then the biggest deal is that multiplayer functionality. It's a new system. I think they're called ghosts. Before a match, you hang out in the lobby. The lobby used to just be a menu. Now it's this place you can actually run around, and there's actually quite a bit to do in there, including this like new locker customization system, which I think some people find pretty neat to just kind of collect different little trinkets, then show them off in a locker. But the big deal is if your friend is online, they'll appear in your lobby and you can join them, and up to 4 people can join them before hopping into a match. Huge deal. That is the biggest deal of this direct. I don't even really think it's close, because that was the issue with Splatoon. Still, play Splatoon 2, it's like, all right, who's going to jump into a match first? And then someone's just sitting there waiting for like 3, sometimes 6 minutes to get in. And now that will be a thing of the past. One thing I wasn't clear on is if you'll be on the same team when that happens. It kind of looked like you would be, but I'm not sure if it's just like, yep, up to 4 people can join up together and then leap into a lobby, which, I mean, it's going to be rare that you're playing with more than 3 people or more than 3 other people. And I feel like if you would just do a private battle. So I think that's enough for me, just being able to join up with 3 of your friends and then hop into the lobby. That's what they needed, and it's what they did. So I'm thrilled about that. That's really all I needed from this, because I knew I was going to pick up this game anyways. But just to see it there was honestly a big relief.
Yeah, so beyond those 2 big things, do you want to run through some of the other new features that have been added for this one?
Yeah, so they talked a lot about different gameplay things. There's like a new swimming mechanic where you can do this like 180 jump in the air that also defends you from incoming enemy ink. There's also a way to swim up walls even faster. There's a new set of idols, so like Callie and Marie and Pearl Marina. They are now called Fry and Shiver, and Big Man the Stingray is the third one. So you got the 2 girls like both Splatoon games I've always had, but now this one has the 2 girls and this Stingray who's really funny. And kind of a big deal with having 3 hosts is now for Splatfests, there's 3 teams, which is super cool. It is a super cool change. So the first Splatfest is going to be rock, paper, scissors, and you pick one of 3 teams. And then after the first half of the Splatfest, so usually Splatfests are like 2 or 3 days, so I'm guessing at like after a day and a half, whichever team is in the lead, 4 players in each match will start in the middle of the turf war, and then 2 players from the other teams will start on either end of the map, and then it's about the team that's in the lead defending their turf from the other 2 teams, trying to work together to take it from them. So seeing turf war get mixed up for Splatfest, I think, is super cool. They confirmed ranked is coming back. There's going to be 12 maps at launch, and there's going to be this new card game. There's going to be this new card game is like a top-down kind of puzzly looking one-on-one thing, which is a super new thing. Like how Horizon has its own spin-off game, Witcher has its own spin-off game. Now Splatoon is joining that list of games.
Wait, is it an actual separate game, or is it in the game itself?
It is in Splatoon, but it's just a totally different thing. You just like walk
from
up
the
to
other
this dude,
modes.
and it's like,
Okay,
let's play cards, and then you play this like card-based battle game, which looks really interesting. They talked about the single-player thing. They also confirmed there's going to be a major DLC, just like the Octo expansion for Splatoon 2, along with 2 years of free updates. So really, I feel like everything that we needed to see, we saw today. And personally, I'm sold on the game. I don't know someone who casually played Splatoon 2, like Kevin, I think we were talking a little bit after the presentation. You're not so sure if you'll pick this one up, but for hardcore Splatoon fans, of which there are a great number of them, I think that this was a really great presentation.
Yeah, I think it checked basically all the boxes needed for someone who was already very heavily invested in Splatoon 2. You got a bunch of features already coming back, a bunch of, new maps, new weapons, new modes. They fixed some of the issues from Splatoon 2 in previous games. But yeah, I do wonder how many people are going to hop over to this one. I guess we'll see how big of a group that diehard fan group is, because I think Splatoon 2, it kind of helped it out a little bit that it came on pretty early in the Switch's life. And so everyone's like, oh, okay, I want some new games to play on my Switch. And that was one of the options that you could get within its first, half year on the market. And I wonder how many people there are who think that this is a big enough upgrade to move away from Splatoon 2 and go to Splatoon 3, or people who haven't played Splatoon 2 in a while and think this is enough to pick up a whole new game.
It absolutely, it's stuffed with content, is how I felt watching this presentation. Like, every individual facet of Splatoon has just been pumped up even further in Splatoon 3 from what we're seeing. Like, Salmon Run has even more bosses, and it has this new way that the modes will end sometime, where this giant boss comes in, you have to fend him off to defend all the eggs you collected through the normal round. That's new. That's really cool. Every weapon type is returning, along with 2 new ones, the bow and arrow and a katana that I think is called the Splatana, and it looks super cool. So new weapon types, new abilities. The clothes system is new. There's more customization than ever. Amiibo support is back. There is everything is just more stuff than there's ever been. And I mean, Splatoon at 1 and 2 both grew so much over time, so I know it's going to be the same here. 12 maps seems a little bit low to me at launch for how many maps already exist in Splatoon 1 and 2. I was a little surprised at that number. There's 5 new maps and then 7 returning maps from Splatoon 1 and 2. And I don't know, Splatoon 2 by the end of it had over 20, so I would have expected to see a few more returning maps. I think 5 new maps is a great number, but I would have expected to see a few more returners at launch. I know they're going to add probably one every 3 months or so for 2 years. So maybe that'll bring us up to the 20 maps by the end of this thing. But I thought that seemed a little bit low. Was the only thing I was kind of scratching my head at.
Yeah, how many maps were there on launch for 1 and 2?
Splatoon 1 only had 5 maps at launch. It was extremely light.
Right. It's not great.
It was very light, but Splatoon 2 maps at launch. Let's see if I can find this real quick. I feel like it was a similar number, but I just would have thought. Okay,
yeah, you would 2,
think there were 10 maps at launch.
10 maps.
So this is
so
a couple more.
Bigger. They just add 5 every time, or is it 12 this time?
It's 12 to start.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's not.
Yeah, you would think they would have a little bit more to pull from the previous 2 games.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe the other plan is to bring some of those back with the post-launch updates. Have some new maps in there and have some of the returning maps as well.
Yeah, they basically said that every 3 months is when they're going to have big content drops, because they have this new thing that's kind of like a battle pass, where every 3 months they're going to. It's not paid though; it's free. Where
battle pass.
Every 3 months they're going to add a bunch of new cosmetics. You have titles now. It's very much like the Fall Guys card, right? Where you have your name, you have a title, and then you have a banner that it sits on. It's very similar to that, and every few months they're going to add new stuff to unlock for that. They're going to add new gestures for when you win a match, which is very Fortnite Fall Guys live service game, and they're going to add new cosmetics to put in your locker space. And they said that that's going to come, a new wave of those is going to come every 3 months. And they also said new weapons are going to come every 3 months. They didn't say new stages are going to come every 3 months, but I would have to assume that's how it's going to work.
You would hope so. You'd hope that would all get added in.
I know. It'd be weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it looks good. And I think that this is exactly what Splatoon 3 needed. Because it really has been a no-show for so long. I think this was the perfect presentation. It basically showed off every single facet of the game and showed where it's improved from Splatoon 2 and Splatoon 1. And I think that's really what we needed to see for Splatoon 3. Again, for me, where I'm at, I think it doesn't help out for me that people I know that play it are in a completely different time zone. So it makes it hard to play relatively consistently. If I was back home, maybe I'd be more tempted to pick it up, but I think it has enough content to warrant it existing. That was always the question. Like, is, what warrants Splatoon 3's existence? And I think that this showed that it has enough content to stand on its own. Now, the decision of putting it on the Switch instead of the successor is still a question that we can debate, but Splatoon 3 definitely has a good reason to exist.
I know, it raises an interesting question, right? They say this thing's going to get 2 years of support. So either that means we're not going to see the next thing for 2+ years, or it means it's going to be fully backwards compatible and we're all just going to move on and bring Splatoon 3 with us, which I think is the more likely scenario. But yeah, 2 years of content,
or they'll
pretty much what
release
Splatoon
it
2 got
in a year for the new console.
Oh man,
and it'll be a launch title.
I mean, the hope is that Switch 2 or whatever it is backwards compatible.
It's got to be. It definitely.
And if it is, then you can just bring those right over, and it's really not an issue.
Yeah. I just found the official numbers. It was 8 Splatoon 2 maps at launch, so 3 more than the original had. And then by the end of it, it had 23. So they added 15 maps over 2 years.
A lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, really that's great. Quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. So hopefully we see a similar ad with that and end up with like close to 30 maps by the end of this thing. That'd be really cool. And that's not even counting like the Splatfest exclusive maps, of which there were like 10, but you could only play those during very limited windows, so they don't really count. But yeah, just 23 maps in the main rotation, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, looks good. Do we want to get into another big presentation that happened a little bit earlier this week? That being Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. We learned some more about the game. The biggest one probably is the new forms. Each new Pokemon game has got to have
had to be a gimmick
form. We have the Mega Evolutions. I forget what it was called in Sword and
Dynamax?
Shield. The Dynamaxing.
Yeah, and Gigantamaxing.
Gigantamaxing was the other one. So we have to have a new mechanic like that in every single Pokemon game mainline. And we have the Terrastall mechanic where you can catch a Pokemon and its Terrastall type may be different than its original type. And you can swap it in battle, and moves that they have that are the same type as their Terrastall type will do more damage. And it seems like Pokemon will have a wide option of different Terrastall types. So it's a matter of going out and catching Pokemon and seeing what their type is, and then kind of incorporating that into your battle style. What do you guys think of this? Personally, I think it's a cooler idea than the previous, because it also means that you're having to go out and catch more Pokemon to try and find these different Terrastall types. And I think it can change your team dynamic, because you could have a team with multiple of the same Pokemon, but if they have a different Terrastall type, maybe you can kind of mix and match a little bit more. Zach, what do you think?
It definitely seems a little more complex than previous games with their gimmicks like the Dynamax and the whatever. Those are just getting big briefly and then deflating back again. And I don't think there was pretty much depth to it. This seems like it could allow for more.
At a certain point with that, wasn't it basically just one Pokemon gets big,
the other
Pokemon gets big, and then the fight is the exact same, but they're just big Pokemon instead.
That's definitely what it felt like. But this one, I think it could allow for more in-depth combat and strategy and stuff like that. So definitely not turned off by it. I think it looks interesting.
Cool designs too.
Yeah, I don't like the name Terrastall. Doesn't really roll off the tongue.
It's a little hard to remember, at least at the start.
Yeah,
I think it has potential to be the best gimmick introduced, because it's been since Gen 6 with Megas, then Z moves, then Gigantamax, and I've had significant issues with all three of those. Mega Evolution, only like 10% of Pokemon could do it, so you only really wanted Pokemon in your party that could do it, because it was basically an instant win button once you picked that. Z moves were literally an instant win button. I can't think of a single time in Sun and Moon you use a Z move and it doesn't kill the Pokemon instantly. So that's not much. And then, Gigantamax was just like, let's waste 30 seconds of the battle watching both these Pokemon grow to skyscrapers, and then the fight will continue. So I hope that this doesn't turn into an instant win button. I hope it's just like kind of a creative like type swapping thing, like they kind of said it was. Because if it's like a type swap and your double power, then once again it's going to be like, well, the way to win this game is just to use that every time. You have to sit through this cutscene and then you win the battle. And it's like that just got really old after a while in the last few generations. So we'll see. I don't love that they feel the need to shoehorn something new like this into every generation now. I don't think it needs it. But of all the ones we've seen, I feel like this one has the most potential.
Yeah, and it looks like the power-up it really only affects moves that are the same type as their Terrastall type. So that's kind of the game that you have to play. If you can only do it a certain amount of times, it sounds like either going back to a Pokemon Center or going up to a Terra or touching crystals overflowing with Terrastall energy. We don't know how common those are going to be. So maybe you won't have access to it at all times. And then that it's a matter of how many moves you want to have that go to that type if they're not particularly useful when the Pokemon is not in its Terrastall form. So
Yeah.
I guess it depends on how rare that is. If you're going to be going through sections of the game where, you know, maybe you have to be a little bit more strategic of when you use it because you don't have this crystal, but we don't know how common they're going to be yet. They also talked about how there's going to be 3 different branching paths, and they really didn't talk too much about that beyond you have the 8 gyms and you can battle them in any order that you choose, which is cool. I heard there's not going to be level scaling on that.
There isn't. So you
Where'd
just
hear
have to
that?
fight
'Cause
them in the exact order that it described.
They didn't say that in the
Just saw it
presentation.
online somewhere, so take that with a grain of salt. But they also did not elaborate on that at all. I would hope
you can fight them in any order, but you have to go in the order that they are leveled, or else you will lose.
I know. I kind of have problems with both sides of this. It's like, I think level scaling is kind of dumb because it's like, what's the point of leveling up if everything else just levels up with you? I mean, I get it. It's fine, but I just personally don't like that. I know, like, some of the newer Assassin's Creed games do that, where it's like you spend all this time doing this stuff leveling up, but then everything still is at or above your level. So, like, I don't really get the purpose of that. It doesn't seem to me like there's a lot of progression if everything is always leveling up around you. But then on the other side, it's like you can go in any order, but you're going to get stomped at 6 of them if you try to go there first. And it's like, what? So you just grind and grind and grind to get strong enough to challenge the one you want to challenge. But then, like, the first 3 gyms from a difficulty standpoint just become jokes. Like, I just don't get how they're going to pull it off. I think that total open world is difficult in a JRPG setting where you're leveling up. I just don't know how it works.
I think it would be cool if gyms would change their lineup of Pokemon depending on when you fought them, because then you truly have a different path depending on which route you take. And that's pretty malleable because there's 8 gyms and you can do them in any order. So you could fight one gym and they have this set of Pokemon, and then you talk to a friend who did that gym at a later or earlier time and their team is completely different, or some Pokemon haven't evolved yet. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, I actually saw something online about that was saying that in the Pokemon anime, it's basically been established as lore that gym leaders will look at how many badges you have and then tailor their team so they are beatable. It's why the first gym leader always only has like 2 Pokemon and they're all really easy. It's because they see you're just some new kid with 0 badges. So they're like, oh, I'm going to use my 0 badge team. So if they took that idea that's apparently like canon in the show and applied it to the games, I do think that'd be cool.
But when Brock joined Ash, he didn't have any really strong Pokemon. So if Ash rolled up with like 7 badges, what was he going to use? Onyx and Geodude?
Yeah, that's in
I don't
the back.
know when
and
this was established.
You know, he knows that Ash needs to learn these things on his own. He doesn't want to be the crutch for Ash to just go to every time.
Yep.
He's got to let him live his life. Yeah, I think that'd be cool. They didn't. I kind of wish they elaborated a bit more on that, because they basically just said you can challenge the gyms in any order and then kind of pieced out. Yeah. So we've got the gym storyline. You have this school storyline as well. And then a third storyline. Is that just going to be the evil team?
They mentioned a treasure hunt, but is the treasure hunt the same as the school one? That was kind of unclear.
Yeah.
I don't really
think
know
it was the same.
Yeah.
I would like the option to join the evil team, just personally.
You leave school and just join the thugs.
All right, I'm evil now.
That'd be fun.
But yeah, you know, they talk about the 3 stories. I wish they had gone more into that third story. If it is just the evil team, then we've had 2 stories in every single Pokemon game, and then this third story is just university. Again, they really didn't elaborate much on that. Said? What?
But they also said you can complete the 3 stories in any order that you want.
They did also say that too.
If there's not level scaling, then how is this going to work? I don't know how it's going to work.
We'll see. I hope there's level scaling, and I hope that what I saw was wrong.
Yeah.
We also saw more movement in the open world with the 2 legendary Pokemon. So they can fly, they can climb up walls, and go through water, and you get them pretty early on, it seems, to move around in.
That's
Which
interesting.
one's your
I was
preference,
like,
Zach? What's your preference, new or
well,
old? On that?
Personally, I like the red one. I think that's Koraidon, right?
Yes.
Miridon, Koraidon.
Those
I
are
like the red
games.
one, but I just think it's weird that he runs when he clearly has 2 wheels on his chest, while the other one just zips around like a motorcycle with his wheels.
I think in
So
terms of exploration, the modern one looks a lot
he
better.
does. It really does. So I don't know which way I'm leaning now. That really shook me up.
Logan, do you have a preference?
I was leaning to say I'm coming in the same boat. I was leaning
Yeah.
Scarlet this whole time, but he kind of looks dorky when he's running around. So I'm not sure.
He's got those
But
wheels.
yeah, I think it's cool that you get him early on. I like that idea.
I
And
wonder if we get him mainly as a tool and not as a Pokemon to use in battle, because I feel like
that'd be
he'd be
really
pretty
OP.
strong if we get him
Yeah.
at early on.
okay, well, minor spoiler. A lot of this game is
Yeah, go
leaked,
ahead.
and I've read some of it. This isn't really a spoiler. It says you don't get him as a Pokemon until way later.
Okay.
You
Well, now
just
to
run
be
it.
fair,
Yeah.
in what Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, you got Latios/Latias pretty early on, and that gave you the ability to fly, and they just gave you that legendary.
Yeah.
So they've
Yeah.
done it before.
But now I think the precedent is more like Sun and Moon, which had these Pokemon that you couldn't use, but you could use in the overworld, like Charizard. And Legends Arceus does the
Oh,
same
yeah.
thing, where you have these
Yeah.
Pokemon you can ride around, but not actually used in battle. So I imagine it's going to be the same thing.
I guess the other question is if they ever unlock in battle, or if they are purely just for
I
exploration.
feel like they'd have
for
to. A
legendary.
cover
Yeah.
legendary to not unlock
You
in
would hope.
battle.
Yeah,
I think
probably
I
close
think
to the
they have
end.
to.
The
Yeah.
game's just going to be like, now you have grown strong enough.
Mhm.
They'll let you
They will
battle
obey
with
you.
them or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is exactly what
After
it's
the
gonna
8th
be.
gym, they'll obey you. And I guess the last thing to touch on here, they went a little bit more into multiplayer. They showed 4 people running around, and they said you can explore in select areas, or like a variety of areas, meaning not all areas. And this was another one that basically this entire presentation, I just wanted them to expand more on the things that they were showing off in terms of the stories. And in terms of this, where can I explore? How does battling work? Do I go into a battle and then they just like go off and do their own thing? This would have worked so much better in Legends Arceus when you're all running around and you can all catch Pokemon in the overworld. Do they just disappear when they go into battles? I don't know.
Yeah. And then the raid battles are back too, which was a thing in Sword and Shield, where you can fight the powerful what's it called? Terrastol?
Yeah, Terrastol.
Yeah, Terrastol Pokemon. So that's back, and then you can all have a chance to catch them if you win the battle. But yeah, and then basically they say that you summon multiplayers in from these specific like zones that seem like they're at the Pokemon centers. And then I want to know, so once you're in, is the whole world your oyster and you can just see the whole thing together? Or is it like how multiplayer works in something like Elden Ring, where what you are like open in this specific area, but then you'll hit an invisible wall, and then everyone who's not the host has to leave. The host steps into the next area and reinvites everybody. Like, I want to know how it works. I feel like they didn't really talk about multiplayer enough.
I think Elden Ring does that because the multiplayer, the person entering the world has the ability to kill pretty much anything by themselves. I don't think that that's really going to matter in Pokemon, because if they go into their own battle, it's their own battle. And it's not really going to do anything for the host. So I don't think those invisible walls will be super necessary unless the console is like restricting them because they can't handle 2 players a certain distance from each other or something like that. But
yeah, I guess the other point
it'll be
is,
interesting to see.
What can they do? Can they go in battle? Can they go and battle trainers or go and battle gym leaders? Is that for their saves, or is that for the host saves? Or can they not do that? Is it more of a purely like exploration, just running around and catching Pokemon, which is really the only thing they said was a variety of areas and you can go and catch Pokemon.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then it's incredibly limited. Because then you do it once, and beyond the raid battles, there doesn't seem to be much in the way of teamwork there, unless you can get into battles with wild Pokemon and do like a double battle of sorts, or up to 4. I don't know, but
yeah, we'll see.
At this point, it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of utility there. And that's basically the presentation.
some other stuff.
Overall, what did you
not
guys
important.
think? And I know that both of you were planning to pick it up. Does this change your thought on that, or if you think about this in a more positive light or a negative light after this trailer? Zach, I'll throw it to you first. Were you planning to pick it
Yeah,
up?
I am planning to pick it up, and I was planning to pick it up pretty shortly after it launched, maybe not on launch, just to see what some people are saying, especially about the multiplayer, since if Logan picks it up near launch too, we'd probably play it together, but if the multiplayer is then maybe not right away. But yeah, this reflected in a positive light for me. I think it has a lot of potential to do things that other Pokemon games haven't done yet, so excited to see where they take it. I'm a big fan of Fido, the little
Oh yeah,
doe
some new Pokemon. Yeah, he's
dog
cute.
that they announced. He was very cute. Yeah, so I think I'm still going to pick it up either on or near launch. Yeah, pretty excited for it still.
Logan?
Yeah, I mean, I just am more curious than anything. I just want to see how they handle this open world concept that is going to be so much different than Legends Arceus or any of the previous mainline Pokemon games. So yeah, I'm still going to pick it up. They still haven't really told us much about how the open world really works, and that's the thing I'm most interested in. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'd say this. Hearing that Jim's in any order, 3 storylines. I'm excited about the Academy thing. I think that that's a cool setting that we haven't super seen before. So I was like, go to the Pokemon school to get tutorial dumped and then never return again. So I think to actually have an Academy setting is a
Press
cool
A
idea.
to use a move.
Yep. So
Do
yeah,
you
I'm
know what
still on
potions
board.
are?
I'm still
Okay.
on board.
And the last presentation we have is a Sunbreak stream that I didn't watch, so you guys can
Yep.
can take it away here with the Sunbreak stream.
Yeah, the stream was for the first Sunbreak title update. Free title update dropped yesterday,
Yeah.
the day after the presentation. So I think that the free title updates released pretty quickly in Iceborne too after the stream. I wasn't expecting next day. I was probably expecting like a week, but next day was nice, even though we have not had the chance to play it yet. But they did announce quite a few things coming in the first free title update, including 2 extra monsters that we haven't heard yet. So 4 in total, which is a lot for a title update. Have there ever
it
been
is a
4
lot.
monsters in a title update before?
No, it's usually like 2, 1
I
or
know.
2.
Yeah,
But I guess
are all
Sunbreak's
variants.
roster was a lot smaller than Iceborne's roster, so maybe they're making up for it with larger title updates, which is cool though, because I didn't feel like Sunbreak was content light at all.
No, not at all. Should we say what they are, or people probably aren't, waiting
Yeah, we
at
should.
this
It was,
point?
it was Gold Rathian, Silver Rathalos, Seething Basil Geese,
Huge. Yeah,
and
Seething Basil Goose.
Lucent
Basil Juice.
Nargacuga.
Yep.
Yeah, which is
So
cool. And a new
3
area.
returning from World and 1 not returning from World. New area, I've forgotten what
The
it's called.
Forlorn Arena, which
Forlorn
is pretty cool.
Arena. Yep,
Yeah.
not a full area, but a very cool looking arena, which I think is mainly for Lucian Nargacuga. I think he's been shown off there the most.
Yeah,
but
it's his home.
Yep. They also announced some additions to gameplay and endgame stuff. The return of investigations from World. I think they're handled a little differently in Sunbreak. They're going to be on a leveled system where every time you do a investigation, it will be a random environment, a random amount of carts that you can use, and a random number of players that can join the quest. And then completing these investigations will increase your investigation level, which will then allow you to complete higher leveled investigations. And these give you unique items to use in the new Curious Crafting mechanic, which upgrades endgame armor and weapons to make you even stronger, which I am excited about. How do we feel about this, Logan?
It's a big deal. I think that like kind of the end game builds you're able to create so far in Sunbreak have all been like, well, if you have a Switch X, this is what you should do, right? Because there wasn't a ton of customization. But now this basically opens up the RNG gods, and it's like, all right, just go for it, because like skills are random, defense boost, attack boost, affinity boost, it's all just random. So you never know what you're going to get when you try to level one of these things up with the new crafting mechanics. So it's a cool thing to add to endgame. Also, the higher investigation level a quest is, the harder the monster hits. And these things go from level 1 to level 80. I want to fight a level 80 monster and see how hard it knocks me on my butt. I think that sounds awesome. So I think that having some really hard quests is going to be something that's cool. And the return of event quests too. Starting next week, they're going to add a new event quest every single week. That completing those gives you like new cosmetics, some new equipment, things like that. So yeah, I'm happy with this. This is way better than Rise's post-launch support, like by miles and miles. 4 new monsters is big. All the new gameplay is really big, and they're going to keep adding more difficult investigations with every title update, they said. And the next one's already in September. And I look at a game like
very
this,
shortly.
I look at a game like Mario Strikers Battle League, and I'm like, man, in terms of like post-launch update and getting people to come back, this is incredible. And that was like, oh, well, Daisy's here now. So yeah, I'm really thrilled with this post-launch support for Sunbreak. We got to dive in and try it out because we've still been playing regularly. Like we have not fallen off at all. I've put like 50 hours into Sunbreak already in the last month and a half.
Yep, and you only need to be MR10 to access the new content.
So that's
we
just
are
beating the main
MR
story, I think, is
like
getting to 10
something. Yep, and then that's just completing the main story of Sunbreak, and you will be at 10. So that's all you need. Not bad.
Awesome.
Is that it?
That's it.
Well, there's a couple other small things. There's a new level of anomaly quests with new afflicted monsters, and that's pretty much it.
All right. Want to move on from the streams and showcases to get into some other stuff. First off, we've got Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass Wave 2. Woo! It is
very
here.
Excited.
And man, it is good.
It is.
It's really
good. There were some good stages in the first wave. Ninja Hideaway was a solid one. Coconut Mall, which has gotten an update, was good, and now it's even better now that the Shy Guys move at the end of
they go berserk
at the end of the track. So there were some solid ones here in that first wave, but with this second one, I really like what they've done. Waluigi Pinball, of course,
that's the big one.
Great to have that one back, but even beyond that, I really like the additions to Calamari Desert. I think that was one of the big standouts for me. I have a lot of memories of that track from N64, but I can understand that it's a very simple track. The only thing that's really going on in that original is just the train and 2 crossings. You basically just have to cross it twice. You can go on the tracks, but it doesn't really do a whole lot.
You'll lose the race if you do.
Yeah. If you're a kid, just doing whatever. But here they force you to go on the train tracks for the later lap, which is really cool. And then you have to avoid the trains. I really like the changes that they made to Calamari Desert. The new candy themed level is super fun. I really enjoy that one a lot. Wave 2 Sydney is a really good track too. Awesome. I was just playing a little bit earlier.
Gorge.
I was surprised. Mushroom Gorge.
I like that.
Mushroom Gorge was a good one. Yeah, with Sydney, I was surprised at how long that one was in a good way.
Yeah.
Like I had finished that second lap. I was playing earlier today and I was coming up on the end. I'm like, all right, we're done. And then I passed through and it's lap 3. So wait a minute. I didn't pass that earlier. Really, really solid tracks in this one. Logan, what have you thought of Wave 2 so far?
Oh man, it's really great. I think visually, like we talked about some of the visual downgrades compared to the base game in Mario Kart 8, and I don't know if it's just because it's Wave 2 and we're more used to it, or if these tracks just genuinely look better. But I look at something like Waluigi Pinball, and I'm like, this looks as good as I would need it to visually. And I think maybe it's just the art style of that specific track. Like it's super bright, huge pieces of track that are like one solid color. Like I think maybe it benefits from the tour art style, but it looks amazing. Like that track is really cool looking, and it's just a great driving track. And then I just continue to love the tour tracks. It is like we had the segment races in Mario Kart 8 and Mario Kart 7, but to have what these tour tracks do, what they've done with them, and have different routes depending on the lap you're on, that is so fresh. It is so cool. Calamari Desert getting that huge ramp introduced in lap 2 is awesome. And I actually tested this out. I was like, so what does that look like to people on lap 1 when that ramp isn't there? And so I hooked up 2 players. I drove one person around one lap, and then I drove them together, one person on lap 2, one on lap 1 to the ramp. And the ramp's just not there on the player 2 side of the screen. And then when player 1 drives on the it looks like they're just like driving on midair. So it's just like I wondered how they would pull it off, and that's how they do it. Yeah. So that's how it works there. And I thought that was cool. And then Mushroom Gorge is a solid track. And even Mario Circuit, the really flat one, I don't mind having one flat course in Mario Kart 8 because it's really the only one of its type. And I don't like the original Mario Kart because they're all super flat tracks like that. But to just have one, it's like kind of unique because it's just super good turns, super flat track. It's just like a dirt racetrack, and I think that's pretty cool. The only one I'm not super big on is the ice one, Snowland from GBA. I think that track is fine, but to have basically an entire set of tracks that I think are very good to great, yeah, it's definitely better than Wave 1.
Zach, have you had a chance to play it at all?
Yeah, Logan and I played it together. I've played all the new tracks from this wave. I've enjoyed pretty much all of them. My biggest one was obviously Waluigi Pinball. That was my big ask, my big request. Really enjoyed that one a whole lot. Love the music. Love how they revamped the art style. Really, really cool. Mushroom Gorge, like I said, I also played that on the Wii quite a bit. That's a big one that I liked from the Wii. So glad to see that one back. And then, yeah, just the tour tracks are just so good, and not having ever played any of them ever. So this being my first experience with them, they're just a lot of fun. So yeah, love this wave. Couldn't be happier. Still need that tree, the maple tree from the Wii one. Maple tree. I still need that one.
We've still got stuff that we're waiting on.
Yep.
And there's still a lot to go.
Yeah. Yes, there is. It's surprising. It's hard to imagine that there's so much left to go when we've already gotten so many.
Yeah,
we're a third of the way.
We've already gotten
it's so crazy 16, to think about.
16 new tracks.
And I really like how it's kind of like the same format of Wave 2 as Wave 1. If you look at the two cups, the layout of them is the same, right? In both waves, the first cup starts with a tour track and the second cup starts with a tour track, right? They start with Tokyo and they start with Paris. And then in the first cup, the last track is like a fan favorite people needed to return. You got Waluigi Pinball, you got Coconut Mall. Those end the first cup in both waves. And then the end of the cup, the second cup in both waves is a non-city-based tour track, right? Ninja Hideaway and the Sky High Sundae. And then the middle tracks on each cup are some combination of like SNES, GBA, Wii, DS. And that's it. And I think that's really cool if they stick with that. If we get 3 tour tracks per wave, a fan favorite track coming back, and then 4 other tracks that they just kind of throw in there, I think that's a great balance to not like overload any one set with like if you had Waluigi Pinball and Coconut Mall and Maple Treeway, all this stuff in one wave, it'd be like, what's left for the other waves? So I think it's a really cool way they're kind of doing it. If they stick with this format all the way through, I'd be really happy with that.
A good way to build anticipation for the next one. You get your fan favorite, and then the question is, what comes in the next wave?
Yep.
Also, the whole thing with Coconut Mall getting updated really caught me by surprise.
Yeah.
I kind of thought that they would, drop those, dump the courses out and then move on to the next ones. And that's how it was going to be. They were as is, they weren't going to make any changes, but this shows if there is kind of a weird issue with some of these tracks or a feature that was originally there, but maybe for tour got kind of changed a little bit, they would go in and make some changes to prior tracks and prior waves.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super cool. It's still not the same. Like, it's not the Mii's driving back and forth with the boost pads, but it is funny. It's very funny to see these shy guys just go crazy.
The drifts in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, really good wave. I was very impressed by it. Really excited for whatever comes next, for the next wave.
Yeah, absolutely.
The next piece of news is a Zach piece of news. Tekken.
Oh,
Zach,
yes.
what did you see
Tekken.
from the Tekken announcement?
Yeah, so Tekken had a new trailer at the end of EVO over the weekend, which basically announced the return of something called Tekken World Tour, which is like their official in-person tournament. And I think this year or next year it's taking place in Europe somewhere, like Amsterdam or something like that. Not super important. They also announced a new free update coming to Tekken 7, which seemingly focuses on balancing updates and stuff like that. Not super important. No new content, just mostly patches and balances. But the big thing was at the end of this trailer, there was a cutscene from Tekken 1 that is pretty popular meme because Kazuya has a stupid face, and it molds into a very, very updated new CG looking Kazuya in the same position, and it says God, what did it say?
Get ready, I think.
Yeah. Well, so that's a Tekken thing, because every time you do a fight it says get ready for the next battle. So everyone is under the impression that this is a teaser for Tekken 8. It didn't say that. That's probably what it is. I can't imagine what else it would be. Maybe a new Tekken Tag tournament or something like that. It's a little weird because they said they were done with the Mishima saga at the end of Tekken 7, so I'm not sure why they're using Kazuya to advertise for Tekken 8. He's not even the main character. He's just... But I guess he's now in Smash, so maybe he is the main character now. Who knows?
Recognizable.
Yeah, exactly. So this is just an announcement of a future announcement that we don't know what it's going to be. Probably Tekken 8. Very little information. We've been expecting something for a long time. I think the arcade version of Tekken 7 came out in like 2015, so it's been like 7 years since that, and then like 5 years since the console version. So and then Tekken got its final season earlier this year, so we've all been waiting for an announcement, and I guess we've finally gotten something. So hopefully there's more to come soon, and we don't have to wait a long time for any other news.
What is one feature that you would really want to see in Tekken 8?
I miss team battles. It's a single player mode where you could just select up to 8 characters, and then you would fight up to 8 characters, and then once you defeat an opponent, you would still have your first character up, and then you could try and sweep. It's similar to the squad thing in Smash. What's this called? Squad Strike. It's similar to Squad Strike in Smash. That was my favorite mode, and they got rid of it for Tekken 7, and I don't know why, but it really kills the single player playability of. I just need single player modes, please.
It's not all about multiplayer.
It's not.
Was it only missing in Tekken 7 like it was in all the others? Or most of
it wasn't in ever since it first started,
right?
In either Tekken 5 or Tekken 6. It's been in Tekken Tag Tournament 2 and Revolution, I think so. It's been around for a while, and then they got rid of it for Tekken 7. So just hoping they bring it back.
Well, time to wait and see. Wait for more. That seems to be the case with all of these trailers recently. Just the teaseriest of teasers, and then hey, just wait a little while longer. Maybe we'll have something to show you, something concrete to show you next time.
Evo was kind of nuts, though. There was so much announced. Like, you got the new Fatal Fury game after 20 years of being a dormant franchise. That's a big deal. You got 2 characters revealed for Street Fighter 6. The first, DLC character for Guilty Gear. Like, I feel like they just, after every, grand finals, the creator was just popped out of nowhere and was like, hey, we're bringing rollback netcode to Dragon Ball FighterZ 5 years later. All this crazy stuff was happening, and I thought Evo was pretty cool. I covered the event, and so I had it on all day. And yeah, this was the first year it's happened since Sony bought it, I think. And I thought that it ran really well and had a lot of cool announcements. I liked it.
Yeah, Evo has never really been the place that people developers go to announce things. So it's good to see that this is now becoming a much bigger event where not only is there fighting game tournaments, but there's also events and announcements. So it's super cool.
Yeah.
Wonder if that's a Sony decision.
Probably
drop that in there to get more eyeballs on it, but it probably worked.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
People come for the announcements and stay for the rest of the stuff.
Some pretty interesting fights too.
Some other smaller bits of news. This one is more personal to me. Harvestella is getting some more information. They showed off one of the towns that you can go to. It is a spring-themed town with a bunch of cherry blossoms, so that leads me to believe that there are going to be towns based on, at the very least, the 4 seasons. They showed for the springtime
5
first.
Seasons.
Oh, right.
What?
Is there just hell or something? Just
spring,
death.
Summer, autumn, winter, and hell.
That's my favorite season.
But yeah, the town looks really pretty with all of these cherry blossoms blooming, and they got some nighttime shots in there. Showed off some of the characters, some new jobs. We've got the Skylancer job, which adds to Fighter, Mage, and Shadow Walker. And they also showed off a little bit on character stories. So you have different characters that you can meet in all of these different towns, and they have their own quests and stories, and you can grow your bonds with them by doing their quests, and then you can bring them in to combat. They can join in on combat, and the more friendship you have with that character, the more they'll help out in combat, which is always cool. I hope that the stories are relatively in depth. And then they showed off some really delicious looking food, which you got to have in these farming slice of life cooking games. Some of these look absolutely gorgeous and makes me want to cook them. And I'm just excited for Harvestella. The more that I see about it, the more it looks like what Rune Factory 5 should have been, and we're getting it. And then last little bit of news before we get into rumor roundup. Dragon Quest Treasures is getting a physical release.
Yeah, I was wondering about this. I've been wondering for a while if this was going to be a full price game or like a $40 game, and if it was going to be physical or not. It is a full priced physical game. So now we know that box art looks cool. Coming December 9th. Yeah, so I'm just excited about this one.
Me too.
Me three.
All right.
We'll be playing it on launch. Logan, what do we got for rumor roundup this week?
Exciting. Sonic Frontiers world premiere is coming to Gamescom opening night live. This is going to be basically 2 weeks from today, 23rd of August, so a little under 2 weeks from now. And Sonic Frontiers is going to be there. It is going Jeff Keighley. This is his event, opening night live. And they said, tune in live on Tuesday, August 23rd for a world premiere, new look, and news about Sonic Frontiers. And I just am telling you, it's got to be a release date.
If it's coming this year. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is the biggest stage this thing's going to be shown on. It has to be. They also showed off, like, the box art, too. I don't know if it's the box art, but it's official concept art. Maybe it's, like, the icon art. And it looks really cool. It's Sonic on a rail with some of, like, the weird structures of Sonic Frontiers in the background and, like, the ocean. So it's pretty cool art. Yeah, so I hope we're just 2 weeks away from getting a December 2nd release date for Sonic Frontiers.
That's the prediction.
That is
what about
my prediction.
Dragon Quest? It's going to cut into your Dragon Quest time.
That's fine.
Okay.
Everything will be dropped for Sonic Frontiers.
Zach, do you have a date prediction?
What day did you just said December 2nd?
Yep.
December 3rd.
Saturday? It's going to go on Saturday?
Fine. December 1st, a Thursday.
Kevin?
Let's see. What is my prediction? I'll go, since we got 2 Decembers, I'll go with a late November. Go with the 25th on the Friday.
Let's go with the 31st. 30th?
December?
Third,
like, scooting in.
November.
We said it was coming out this year. It is coming out this year, but we need every day to get this thing out. Yeah, I think
I can't wait.
If it's coming out this year, it's got to get a date here.
Mm-hmm. Which apparently they've said is it's coming this year. They have said time and time again. They've sworn up and down that this thing's coming this year. So it's time to find out.
Because fall is rapidly approaching. We're already almost partway through August.
I'm going to play it on my Switch. I am not. I'm going to play it on my PS5.
Yeah, don't play this on Switch. I really want to see this thing running natively on Switch.
Me too.
Just
I might end up with it on both.
Sheer curiosity.
We'll see. I have Forces on both.
You do.
Did that thing run that much worse? I mean, like lower fidelity.
It was 30 FPS versus 60.
Okay.
And looked worse. It was not
really
great on Switch.
And that was a last gen game.
Yep.
And this is current gen, so who knows what the Switch version is going to be like.
Wait, is Sonic Frontiers coming to PS4 though?
Yeah.
I thought it was coming to everything. Yep, it's coming. It's still coming to PS4. It's coming to PS4 and Xbox One.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's coming to everything.
How's it going to run on those platforms? We'll see.
Yeah,
great.
We have a very wide variety of platforms.
But that's it for Rumor Roundup.
All right.
That was news.
That was news.
I'm sorry.
It's been news for the it's news roundup at this point.
Yep.
We should rebrand because really there's not a whole lot in the way of rumors anymore. It's really just news that's dropping.
I'll find some stupid rumor for next week.
Oh, cool. Yep. Sweet.
Is it going to be now that we are done
stale 3
with
months?
Rumors and news rumors, we will be moving on to what we have been playing over the past 2 weeks because we were off last week.
We were off.
Logan and I were on vacation, so we didn't have extra time to play video games for the most part. But I've played some stuff, and Logan's played some stuff, and Kevin's played some stuff. All of us have played Live Alive. None of us have beat it like we said we would.
Yeah,
he's got in the way.
A little embarrassing. That's okay. It's a long game, but it's a lot of fun. It's
really,
not that
but-
long. It's like 18 to 22 hours.
Yeah,
It's really long.
It's
yeah.
like the longest
Kind of
game I've ever
average
played.
length.
Yeah. But it's a lot of fun, and I am really enjoying it. I have just been busy with other stuff and other games, which is the sad thing. I've just been playing other stuff too, especially
Same.
multiplayer games. But yeah, Live Alive's been a lot of fun. I am close to the final second to last chapter. Once you beat all the standard chapters, you unlock a new chapter. I forget what it's called. It says on the back of the box,
The
like
Middle Ages.
Middle Ages.
Middle Ages, yeah.
Mhm.
I
I'm
still
not
have
there yet.
I
No
have to
spoilers.
finish up the Distant Future, then do the Wild West one, then do that, and then maybe there's other stuff. I don't know.
Okay.
But
So I
I'm
guess
decently close.
I am the furthest. I'm partway through
Oh.
Middle Ages at this
Okay,
point.
you are partway through Middle
Okay.
Ages. Logan, you are not as far as me.
I have not played it since the last time
Oh
we
my
recorded.
god.
Whoa.
Oh my god, Logan.
Yeah, what did you say at the end of last week? Like, oh, we guaranteed.
We'll
got
all
the-
have
Yeah,
it beat it, no problem.
Dude, I was busy, and then we went on vacation, and then I've been sick, and I've been watching lots of baseball, and there's too many multiplayer games. That's my life.
That is true.
Taking up all this time.
Anyone got anything they need to say about Live Alive that we didn't
Not
say
yet.
2 weeks ago? I'm still really enjoying it. I like the music on pretty much every path that I've done so far. The combat has been fun and varied. It's pretty standard stuff that we talked about last week. Kevin, you're the furthest. Anything new that's come up that we haven't thought about? I did I didn't mention this last time. I did the Edo Japan one and did 0 kills.
You did
It was
0
not-
kills.
It was not easy. It took me,
Yeah, because-
and I had to restart in the middle of it because I messed up. I
Yeah,
realized.
because there are points in that where you talk to people and sometimes you'll get things from them, but other times they will just automatically
Mhm.
start a fight.
Yeah,
And you
I
don't know
did
that
save
in
scumming. I
advance.
did a lot of save
So-
scumming, like I do
Yeah.
in other stealth games, where I would just save constantly and then reload it if I messed up. But I got to this point where there were 3 guys guarding a room, and I didn't know how to get past them without fighting them. So eventually I had to look it up, and at some point I needed to unlock a second character in my party who would just like get rid of them for me
Oh, you
in a
didn't-
cutscene. And I didn't do that because I don't know how spoilery this is, but you need 3 coins to unlock him, and I had used them on a pot, which gave me nothing. So I had 0 coins.
Oh,
So I
my
never got him.
God.
So I had to like redo the whole level
Wow.
just to get 0 kills because I was confident that it would like give me benefits, and I don't know if it did, but I did it.
Yeah, we'll have to talk later. When we
Yeah.
get to that spoiler cast, we'll have to compare, because I had, I think, maybe around 40 kills out of the
Mhm.
100, and I got a certain
Okay.
ending, and we'll
Yeah.
have to figure out if there's really big differences. I didn't think about that you couldn't get that that second dude if you.
So I guess when I
if
go
those
through it,
were
I'll
coins.
just do a 100 kill run. So
There
Yeah,
we go.
exactly.
Yeah, you've got none. I've got
Oh
mid.
my
You've
God.
got
That'd
murder
be
everyone.
horrifying.
and
Yeah, the
We'll compare notes.
genocide run.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, that one's
All
really
right.
good. Distant Future was also really cool. It's very, if you want it to be, it is very combat light, which I
Mhm.
thought was
Yeah.
very, very interesting. You see where it goes in terms of its story and how it plays off of science fiction movies.
Yeah. Mhm.
Pretty quick, but I think it did a good job. I like the character dynamics between this cast of characters that you're with. Yeah, for an area that didn't really have any combat that was mandatory. I thought it was quite well done, and I'm enjoying Middle Ages too. I think Middle Ages is really cool, and I think in terms of combat and exploration and as a traditional RPG, I think it is the most fleshed out of any of them, just in that more traditional JRPG sense. Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite so far, Kevin? A different favorite than last time?
A different
I don't remember
favorite.
what you said last time. Wild West.
I said
think.
Edo Japan
Oh, Edo
last time. I'm trying to think if there was one that
I really
beat
like
that.
Imperial China.
Imperial
I
China was
really
fun.
like Imperial
yeah,
China.
that one was really interesting. I think yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
I at this point maybe Middle Ages would come out on top.
It's definitely
just
a
in terms of
contender,
like
yeah.
how feature rich it is for JRPGs. I don't think I would put Distant Future at the top, but it was on the upper end for me. I think right now I'm still going with Edo Japan as my favorite.
Okay.
I'm
it
playing
was
a
a really
near
good one.
future right now. I'm enjoying it. I think that I like the little robot turtle dude who's your second party member
Yeah.
because the way you upgrade him is really cool. He doesn't traditionally level up. You find like scraps and then upgrade him with that. I think that's a cool idea. He has some extremely OP moves that like wipe out the entire
Yeah.
floor. But yeah, I'm enjoying that one right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't say this is a particularly hard game. The hardest was for me Edo Japan, and that was just because I had to
made it
really figure
hard.
out
You
how to
can
get
make it
past
more
people. You
difficult
can
on
make it
yourself.
much more difficult.
Yeah.
And other than that, I'm trying to think if there was like a particularly difficult section of the game. It's all been fairly either on the easier side or pretty standard difficulty. Especially if you're
The
not
present
like
day with
avoiding
that
leveling
final
up.
fight could get you. I lost
That's
on
true.
that once.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
And depending on how you play that, if you didn't go for all of the attacks, maybe you have a much harder time for yourself. Which is interesting. Depending on how you play, it gets, more or less difficult. So if you have all the moves,
like
it's not
that.
as bad.
And then Kevin, anything other than Live Alive you've been playing? Stardew?
100% run is
Always
complete.
Stardew. Oh,
that single player 100% run, finished it just before the end of year 3. You get a cute little cutscene / credit scene that was really nice. It was just nice to finish that off. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. At the end,
it's nice when they actually give you something as opposed to nothing.
They gave you something actually tangible. And I appreciated that this was only added in the most recent, 1.5 update, but they give you a little area that you can check your completion, percentage, friends, shipping, items, all of these things. It's super helpful. But yeah, I'm glad that I finished that. I think I'll probably go back for one more run for the Joja Mart because there's an achievement for that. And I just want to see what happens there. But the Journey of the Prairie King is, I don't think, ever going to be beaten. I tried a run of that. It's like the little arcade game.
Yeah.
It is brutally hard. There are 3 areas and I think 5 waves per area.
You said you had to do it without dying?
There's one achievement where you just have to beat it. And then there's another secret achievement that you have to beat it without dying. I couldn't beat the first area. I think I got to wave 3 or 4 before I lost all of my lives.
Oh, man.
I think those achievements are going to be locked forever, but at the very least I'll do Joja. And it was nice to finally see the ending of a game that I put 300 plus hours into. And it was a nice way to cap that off.
Awesome. Well, now you never have to play Stardew again after that. So.
I'll probably take a break for a little while.
Yeah.
Go back for the Joja Mart run, and then I've got Harvestella coming out, and
that's true.
Some other
that could be a big game
games
for you.
that will take that position for a while.
We have a cameo from Wally, Logan's cat, in the background.
He's
got to be watching the video version of the podcast on YouTube.
I was going to play Stray. I did not play Stray.
Have you still not used?
I did.
Subscription?
I lowered it. I lowered it because I'm not paying for the classics catalog anymore. I'm just paying for the regular game catalog because I still want to play some of the stuff on there.
So wait, so you were doing the highest tier, and now you moved.
I was doing the highest tier. Now I'm doing the second tier.
Okay.
And maybe if I clean up some of the stuff I want to play in the actual catalog, I'll go back down to the base tier for a while. So, don't think I'm gonna play Stray. I've got too much other stuff going on. Logan, anything other than Live Alive? We have been playing some stuff together.
We have to talk about Forza.
Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels DLC is out, and it's amazing. Just like the base game, it's so much fun. It's a new section of the game that you get teleported to that's just absolutely littered with Hot Wheel tracks all over the place, and they're your main mode of transportation. Outside of the now free fast travel, you can fast travel anywhere, which we just
free.
Learned. It's just free
in the Hot Wheels only.
Do it. Yep.
Why isn't that in the base game?
Dude,
I've never used fast travel because I don't want to spend whatever currency it is.
Yeah,
because in the Hot Wheels, you can be like bird's eye view, like 300 yards from something, but actual driving multiple miles from something just because of the nature of the Hot Wheels tracks.
Yeah.
So them giving it to you in Hot Wheels makes a lot of sense because there have been times where it's like, it's right there, but I'm 4 miles away just because of the snaking track route you have to actually take to get there. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense that fast travel's free, but man, it's such a cool world. There's like a forest biome, a desert, a snow biome. Like Volcano, there's all sorts of places here. The races are really fun. A lot. We just unlocked a really cool Hot Wheel, which is like one that I had when I was a kid, so that's super nostalgic. They try to teach you the history of Hot Wheels, but I don't listen. I don't want to listen when they're telling me that stuff.
Like in like a
While
story.
you're
Like the
racing.
story is that.
Like during
Yeah.
races, it's like
Oh.
you're
During races,
driving and
they're
they're
just
like trying to tell
narrating some history of Hot
Did
Wheels.
you know that
and
Yeah.
in 1983
we're just talking about
Mattel
Monster
came
Hunter or
out
something.
with
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
specific Hot Wheel car?
you. Yeah, it's more Forza Horizon 5. I think a lot of the challenges really fit well in a Hot Wheels environment, like
They
going
do.
off jumps, jumping through rings of fire, blowing up balloons, like all these things that are super fun in the open world of Mexico in Horizon 5's base game just makes a ton of sense translated into this world. It is super cool. I think I prefer the base game a little more, just having that freedom of the open world to drive around in, because you are pretty limited on the gated on the orange tracks. But being a big Hot Wheels fan when I was a kid, it has been super nostalgic and super fun to hop in and do this loop de loops, magnetic strips, like all this really cool stuff. The fans that make you go faster, like that blow air on you and make you go like 30 to 50 miles an hour faster, super cool. And everything is multiplayer. The entire campaign is multiplayer. So yeah, it's been super fun. We've probably played for like 2 or 3 hours.
Something like that. I think we're maybe a third of the way through it. It's based off of the ranking of cars. So you start off with B rank, then A rank, then S1, S2, stuff like that. And we're currently on the A rank still, or just finished the A rank. So we're making our way through it. It's been a lot of fun. Definitely been enjoying it. So we'll play more of that coming up probably pretty soon. Anything else, Logan, other than that? I know you've been sick.
The Quarry.
Oh.
A couple weekends ago, I started the Quarry. I'm playing with my girlfriend and a friend of ours, and we're doing that new split screen mode where you get to pass the controller depending on which character it is. So you do this draft at the start of the game where there's 8 playable characters, and it's like, okay, player 1, pick who you want. Player 2, pick who you want. Player 3, pick who you want. So, my girlfriend was scared she was going to get characters killed, so she opted to go with 2 characters, and me and our friend each have 3 characters. And it's been really fun. Like at the end of each segment, you're like holding your breath, waiting to see who gets to the controller next. And you're like, please don't let it be me. Please don't let it be me.
I don't want to play.
But it is super good. I think I like it more than Until Dawn. It is absolutely gorgeous. Like the game is beautiful. I really like the characters in Until Dawn. All the characters are pretty hateable. Like there's only one character I even liked by the end of Until Dawn. But in the Quarry, there's 8 characters and there's only one that I really, really dislike. And he's one of my characters, which is a shame.
That means you have the power to kill him. Yeah,
I do have the power to kill him. No, everybody has survived so far. We have played 4 chapters, I think.
Mhm.
And there's 10? We played the prologue and 4 chapters. So a little under half the game in our first session. But yeah, super fun. It's easier than Until Dawn, I think. I remember Kevin playing Until Dawn, and the quick time events, like the character would be like hopping across these like rocks, and like there would just be like a circle engraved on a rock, and if you didn't see it, they tripped. But this, it's pretty easy. They like show up on the screen, like you always know when there's a quick time event. And it's not even button presses anymore, right, Zach? It's just like controller stick directions. Is what
yes, for the
like
most
so
part, yeah, I think so.
And then the choices are fun. Also, the holding breath is different. You don't have to not move the controller anymore. You just hold X, and then it's up to you to decide when to stop holding your breath to run away.
It's pretty easy to tell when that is required. One of my big complaints is that never really gets any harder. It's pretty much the exact same difficulty every time you have to do it, and you just hold your breath until the end when the red goes away.
Okay, that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
That's just what it is every time. You just wait until the red goes away, and then you can just why would you let go sooner? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because we did wait, and then it's like pulsing red in on the corners of the screen, and then the monster chasing us like turned around, and then that red went away, and then I ran. I'm like, well, that's it.
Yep.
Problem solved.
But it's a great game. Like it is super fun to play in a group setting, just like Until Dawn was. And yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. Holy crap. This game looks really
prettiest
really
game
good.
I've
It's
ever
not
played.
on last gen, right? It's only on PS5.
Nope, it's only PS5. Yep.
Yeah, and it shows. Like it is probably the best looking PS5 game so far. It's really cool. So yeah, I've been really enjoying that. It's pushing me to my horror limits though, which are not very high. But yeah, it's super fun. I also liked how much more of an intro I felt like there was to this game. I felt like we got to know the characters a lot better before all the spooky stuff started happening that in Until Dawn. Like
Mhm.
the whole like first two prologue and like the first chapter and a half are during daytime, where you're just like making dialogue choices and getting to know the characters, and then night falls and then stuff starts hitting the fan.
Yeah.
But I really liked that part about it too, that I felt like we know the characters a lot better, and there's
Yeah.
a lot of relationship drama. A lot.
You
of
want to get more
relationship
invested in
drama.
that, because then it's a bigger deal when you
Yeah.
might lose somebody, or you do
Uh-huh.
lose somebody.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I
Haven't
forget how
lost
old
anyone
they
yet.
are. They're not very old. They're camp counselor age.
They're
Make of
college
that what you will.
students.
They're college students. Yeah. I was gonna
think
say they're
like
not.
21.
They're older than high school, but I didn't know how much older than high school.
Mhm.
So yeah, college students. Oh right, I think they're deciding which colleges to go to. So they might be like 18, or are they in college? I don't remember.
Some of them are deciding which college to go to, but some of them are going back to their college. So they're between 18 and 22.
Yeah, they're pretty standard slasher age for victims.
Yeah. I hope I can keep everyone alive. We'll see. We've made
it's
some
not
questionable
easy.
decisions.
Yeah, it's not easy. Good luck.
Yeah.
I believe in you.
Yeah, but it's a ton of fun. And then other than that, Sunbreak, which we talked about, and Mario
Mhm.
Kart, which we talked about. So, but
Great.
yeah, enjoying a lot of games right now. Trying to get through as much as I can before Splatoon comes out, because I know that's going to take up so much of my time when that happens. So, yeah, I've got a back catalog of things to wrap up. Like Pokemon, I played a little bit more Pokemon last night too. I just got to get through these things.
You do Elden
Yeah,
Ring.
I feel that.
Tiny
I've got
Tinas.
Saints Row bearing down on me, and they
Saints
just
Row.
released a trailer for it that we'll have to go and watch later. But yeah, I gotta finish Live Alive before Saints Row comes out.
Yeah, I got a little bit of time because I got some games that I've been playing that I haven't talked about yet, so we got to talk about those. I mentioned on the show prior that I've been replaying the Walking Dead Telltale video games. I've completed the first 3 seasons. I'm now currently on season 4, the final season, not made by Telltale, made by Skybound Games. This was after Telltale dissolved and Skybound got the rights to it. It's one of the better seasons outside of the first season. I would say it's the second best season. It's very enjoyable. It's only 4 episodes long as opposed to 5 like the rest of the season, so it's a little bit shorter, but there's more choice impact and stuff like that, and it looks really good compared to the original 3 seasons. So definitely enjoying my replay. Very close to the end. Good timing too, because a new graphic novel based on the video games just came out. I read it. It wasn't very good. I got disappointed. I went back to playing the game. I got happy again. So definitely enjoying my time replaying these. I haven't played the final season since it came out at the end of 2018 and into the beginning of 2019. So it had been a little while. So there's some parts of it I don't even remember that well. So I'm definitely enjoying going back through it. And then other than that, yesterday I started Dark Souls 3 with the same friends that I had played Bloodborne with. I have never played a Dark Souls for more than an hour or so. So this is my first real dive into one of the original Souls games. And it's nice to have someone who's very experienced, like my friend is. He is helping us through it, as he has done with other of these Souls games.
Nice.
So it's not as hard, especially when we've added an extra person. So now there's a total of 4 people, which is not something you could do in other Souls games. You especially can't do it in Bloodborne, but you can do it in Dark Souls 3 if you use a special item. Typically, you have a max of 3 people in a world at a time, but you can get up to 4 if you use a special item. But it has a negative because then 2 invaders can enter your world as opposed to 1, which is pretty extreme.
But are
because
people
we get
still
invaded
invading?
all the.
Really?
There are people. Yep, there are people who I found this out. My friend told me this. There are people who beat the game at an extremely low level because they're gods, and then they come back to the beginning and then they farm new players because you have to be a similar level to invade someone's world. So they stay at a low level, beat the game to get end game equipment, come back to the beginning, and then use their end game equipment to just destroy new players.
That sucks.
Yeah,
it's
really,
okay.
really breeding
because
a new
you can
group
still
of fans, huh?
because you can still corner them with 3 people and just absolutely wail on them.
Okay.
So it's not impossible to beat them. We have been beating them. I won't
How
say
common
regularly.
is it? How often are they popping in?
Every time we got into one of my friend's worlds, he got invaded like clockwork. I don't know what it was.
Someone's
I
just
got
been
invaded
waiting,
once.
like, oh, thank God, another person's playing.
It's insane. I don't know how or why these people choose this for their life, but but they do. But outside of that, I have really been enjoying it. We all beat the first boss. We took turns helping each other beat the first boss. Very cool stuff. Plays a lot more similar to Elden Ring than it does Bloodborne. You can definitely see that these Souls games were the basis for the combat in Elden Ring. So easy transition there. It's a little more slow paced and a little more methodical for dodging than Bloodborne. So you have to be a little more patient. But outside of that, the skills are pretty translatable. So I picked it up pretty quickly. And we played it for like 3 hours yesterday. So it's definitely been a lot of fun. Enjoying it a lot. So excited to play more of that. Don't know if I'll ever go back to 1 or 2, or I kind of want to play Demon Souls, the PS5 version. So
yeah, that one's good.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how far we get in this. Hopefully, once we get out of the starting area, we'll be invaded less. But you never know.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yep.
Is that it?
But that's been it for me. Outside of the multiplayer games we've already talked about.
All right. Any final thoughts before we wrap up? I think this is about it.
Fall Guys' new Sonic game comes out like today or tomorrow. So excited to play that. Yeah, new
round.
round.
The new skins? Was I seeing photos of those?
Yep. Sonic.
Was Amy part of that?
No, it's Super Sonic, Eggman, and Tails. So the new ones.
Oh, or someone must have made a mock-up.
Did we talk about Sonic Minecraft? I don't think we did.
Oh my god, we didn't. Yeah, quick side note. We beat Sonic Minecraft. That game is brutal, and it's kind of broken now. If you play Green Hill Zone and fall into the water, instead of dying and losing a life, you just get stuck down there in purgatory forever, which is good and bad because I remember when we played it before, we lost all of our lives because people kept dying. But at the same time, if someone falls, and Zach fell at the beginning constantly, then you're just down to 2 players.
You didn't have to add that part. You did not have to say that.
Yeah, your game was freaking out on that jump part. I don't
know why.
I don't know what was going on there. I watched you go off that jump, and the game was just like, no, you're not going far enough.
It's because I was Tails. Oh, that's my excuse. Yeah.
Maybe the most bogus Sonic game we played.
Probably.
That is.
I don't think I have ever been as terrified of their speed in any other Sonic game as compared to that.
No, maybe the Mach speed sections in 06, but that's it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Every time you get up to speed, it is just horrifying because you could die or get hit by a cheap shot at any moment. Yeah. Not great.
I played Minecraft for like 3 hours yesterday.
Oh, yeah? By yourself?
It was fun. Yeah.
It's a great game.
I was just feeling really out of it. Too out of it to do anything I needed to like comprehend. So I just booted up a creative mode world and just built random stuff for a few hours. It was fun. Minecraft is a chill game.
When you're not playing the Sonic pack.
When you're not playing the Sonic. Yep.
So yeah, if you're a Sonic masochist fan and you're looking for that style of game, right up your alley. Sonic Minecraft.
Go play it.
Yeah, any other final thoughts? or is that the final thought?
That's the final thought.
That's the final thought.
All right, that's going to do it for us on this week's episode of Ode to Games. We're here on Thursdays or Fridays, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, other podcast streaming services that you may use. Give us a follow, and you'll be updated with each new episode as they come out. We're also on YouTube at Ode to Games. You can subscribe to the channel and be alerted when each new episode comes out. We're on Twitter at Ode to Games. Yeah.
No Kevin next week.
You can send an email to odegamescast@gmail.com.
There's us.
Well, let's go.
So yes, I will not be here on the show next week. I will be busy. I'll be on vacation, but Logan and Zach will be here for an episode of the show. And then hopefully I'll be back for the following week. So good luck to you guys on next week's show. Hopefully I don't miss anything that I care about too much.
Probably just lots of Monster Hunter.
Probably.
Fall Guys, Sonic. Yeah.
Good stuff. All right. For Logan and Zach, I'm Kevin. Thank you so much for listening. And Logan and Zach will catch you next week.